So let's move on to your next strategy. Now, this one is very important because your layman is mentioned in the recording. It's how patients speak. But your question paper is written in a medical or academic form, which means your patient will say, I often pee, or I can't stop myself from peeing. But your question paper will see the word urine. Okay? So when you hear the word pee, it is equivalent to your question paper that has the word urine in it. So can somebody tell me what would be the medical word or academic word for the word throwing up? I keep throwing up. Okay. If patient says, I keep throwing up, what's the medical or academic word for throwing up? Okay. Yep, that's correct, Dr. Tatiana. That is vomiting. Okay. What about the word, I think I'm getting better? I think I'm getting better. Okay. What's your academic or medical word? Yes, I'm recovering. Very good, Mary. Okay. It's subsiding. That's correct. And something that is subsiding, something means it's getting better. If you are recovering, then you are getting better. Or the other word is improving. Okay. My symptoms are improving. My health is improving. Okay. What about the word given? I've been given. I was given. The doctor gave me. The nurse gave me. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Correct. Administered is one. Okay. If you're administering medication, it means you are giving medication. Okay. So administered is a good word for it. Or another word would be prescribed as well. Okay. It has been prescribed. It has been administered. I was prescribed. I was administered. Okay. So you can see the difference between the layman and the medical. Remember that this is your question paper, but when you're listening, this is what the patient will speak. What about stabbing pain? Anybody? Stabbing pain. Patient says, I have a stabbing pain in my tummy. This stabbing pain is giving me anxiety. No? Okay. I can see some different examples in there. Okay. Cramping is slightly different from stabbing. Okay. So might not be that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a correct prediction, Mergy. Okay. You could say it could be a chronic pain because if the stabbing pain is always there, then then on your question paper it might say the chronic pain. Okay. So stabbing pain, chronic pain, possible. Sharp pain will be a good one as well, Riley. Burning, slightly different feeling. Okay, burning, cramping, that's kind of different feeling from stabbing. Yeah, shooting would be a good one. Yes. Okay, so shooting pain, chronic pain, acute pain, these could be possible words synonymous to stabbing pain. Okay, and stabbing pain, it's a feeling wherein it's not there all the time, but it's very, very frequent. Like, it's like, pain, no pain, pain, no pain, etc. But it's very quick. Yeah. So kind of stabbing pain. So you can say it could be described as chronic pain, could be acute pain, could be sharp pain, shooting pain. Those will be a good one in there. What about the word got, oops. What about the word got worse? Yes, deteriorate is your most common medical word for it. It deteriorated. Okay. I've got new words in here. And someone tell me the medical or academic for sleepless nights. Sleepless nights. Because of my headache, I've had several sleepless nights. Because of my headache, I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep. I have sleepless nights. It's keeping me awake at night. Okay, these are your different ways patient might tell you. It's keeping me awake. I have sleepless nights. I can't sleep. Yes, yeah, very good. It is insomnia. Okay, so as you can see, insomnia can be mentioned in different ways. I've got sleepless nights. I cannot sleep. It's keeping me awake. Okay, what about useless? If a patient says, that medication is useless, that surgery was useless, that procedure was useless. What does the patient mean by that? The medication you gave me is useless. Okay, what do you think will be the medical word? Yes, very good, Yvonne. Okay, I'm gonna wait for the others. Yeah, that's a good word, Mary. Okay. Okay, yeah, so not effective, yeah, non-effective, ineffective. Okay, if the patient says that's useless, it means it's not working for me. Okay, so it's not working for me, it's ineffective, not effective, not functioning. Okay, very good one. What if they say it's never ending? Yes, very good. Constant is one good one. Okay, yeah. Progressive is slightly different, Mary. Progressive means it's getting worse. Okay. Because it's progress, it means it's going up, it's getting worse. But never ending means it just doesn't stop. So constant will be a good one for that. Anything else? Any other medical word you can think of if it's never ending? Okay. Chronic, long term. Okay, something that is never ending, something that is constant, something that is always there, something that you've felt for a very long time. Chronic. Okay, next one, it's not enough. It's not enough. The pain reliever you gave me this morning is not enough. I'm still in pain. Okay, the pain reliever you gave me this morning is not enough. I'm still in pain. Give me more. Okay, yeah, good one. Inadequate from Mergy. Okay, any other word? Yeah, non-functioning, it's not the same. It means it doesn't work. This one is not, and it's working, but it's just not enough. I need more of it. That's what that means. So inadequate would be a good one. The other one would be insufficient. You've got insufficient medication. Okay, inadequate medication, insufficient medication. What about the reverse? Too much. You gave me too much. Okay, I only need 5 tablets. You gave me 6. Too much. What could be the medical word for it? Okay, I don't need that much medication. That's too much. Anybody? Oh, this is a hard one for you guys. Okay, if your patient tells you you gave them too much, excessive is the word you're looking for in here. Anything in excess. Okay, excess, it means over, too much, yeah, excessive. What about hardly ever? You always go to the other patient. You never ever visit me. Hardly ever. Okay. It's kind of in that area of not enough, too much. Yes, very good, Mergy. Barely. It means you visit me a little, but not as much as I want you to. Okay. Barely. Okay. Anything else? Any other medical academic word you can think of? Uncommon is a very good one. Okay. Hardly ever. It's quite uncommon for you to visit me. Rarely is a good one as well, and yeah, so hardly ever, okay? And then the other word that you can say is infrequent, not frequently, okay? That's a good one as well. Dr. Tatiana used the word now and then. But now and then is mostly coming from the patient. It's not normally a medical word, okay? But patient might say, instead of hardly ever, they might say every now and then. Okay, every now and then. It's the same as hardly ever, but that's on the layman side. So medical, we can say rarely, barely, it's quite uncommon, infrequent, etc. Okay, so I want you to understand your medical and your layman language. And again, as I've mentioned, I've given you a PDF, and it is under level 1 nursing or under level 1 medicine. Okay, right at the very bottom, you will find it under PDFs to download or materials to download. Okay, so there will be a few examples in there. Now, all of these words that you will have to answer in listening part A, they could be nouns. These are the most common ones. That's when you're talking about body parts, the name of the medication, the name of the prescription, the name of the surgery. They will all be nouns. If OET is asking you for the name of something, you're being asked for the nouns, okay? The next most common ones in your answer, they are adjectives. And look how many there are, okay? The adjectives are one of the hardest to answer in listening part A. Why? Because these are descriptions. And your descriptions, just like what we practiced earlier, are coming from your patients, okay? Which means you need to be able to think what is the synonym of the word ineffective when a patient says them. It's useless. Ah, ineffective. Oh, that's way too much. Excessive. Okay, so adjectives are one of the hardest to listen for because you really need to focus on what the patient is describing. They are descriptions, okay? Another one harder than an adjective is a combination of adjective plus noun, okay? This is your question earlier, Mary, about silvery scales. You said, I only answered scales. Is that correct? The answer is no, because this time around, OET is looking for an adjective and a noun. The reason why they won't just accept scales is because there is a description given, okay? So you might say red, pink, silvery, okay? So in this type of questions, there is a difference between scales and silvery scales, okay? It's very, very specific, and that's the reason why they won't accept without your adjectives. Your adjectives, remember, are descriptions. Describe the urine, bloody urine, yellow urine, brown urine, okay? Describe the insomnia, constant insomnia, every day. Daily, monthly insomnia, okay? So there's always a description in that front. So whenever you hear the description, which is your adjective, they are typically to the left of your noun. So if you hear the word urine and there's the word bloody, red, brown, include the adjective in there, okay? Same as with pain. Whenever there is pain, there's typically a description of the pain. Mild pain, severe pain, moderate pain, acute pain, chronic pain, okay? Very, very rarely will OET accept just the noun. Always remember, if there's an adjective, include them. The next ones, they're not so hard, are your verbs, okay? So verbs are action words. What is your patient doing? Vomiting, improving, okay? What did the doctor do? Prescribed or prescribing. How is the condition? It's deteriorating, okay? So the verbs and the nouns, they're easy to spot. They're easy to listen to. The hard ones are your adjectives and nouns. So we'll have a look at adjectives, okay? So before listening, you need to familiarize yourself with the patient's notes, as I've mentioned earlier. So we're going to look at some adjectives on your screen, okay? And then what I want you to do is to identify what the recording is telling you, okay? So let me move this, okay? So I've got the adjectives stressed, fed up, unwell, nauseous, frightened, and confused. Now, just like what I've mentioned earlier, these are descriptions from your patient, okay? Sometimes the patient will give an extended explanation. When I say extended, it's not just one word. It's a long word. It's a sentence, okay? They will give an extended explanation of their feelings or their situations, but in your question paper, they may be written in the patient notes as a single word only. So one word in the patient notes, stress, fed up, unwell, but in the recording, it's extended. It's a long explanation. So you go and listen to the 6 extracts that I'm going to give you, okay? They will be mentioned one at a time. When you listen to them, I want you to tell me the first recording that you hear, what is it? Is it any of these 6, okay? So choose the appropriate adjective or description from the box to summarize how your patient is feeling. Here's your recording.
Track 16. Test 2 Training. Listening Part A. Patient Language Exercise 3.
The tablets make me feel like I want to throw up.
I've had enough and just want to go home.
What if something goes wrong with the surgery? I'm really scared about being under an anesthetic.
Number 4.
I feel terrible. Exhausted, weak, and in pain.
Number 5.
Sometimes I feel all at sea, unable to understand what's going on.
Number 6.
I'm permanently on edge, jumpy at work, and find it difficult to switch off.
Okay. For those of you, do you want me to play it again, or shall I show you the answers? Looks all right? Okay, I'll show you the answers now.
Track 16.
So the first one is nauseous. He said, the tablets make me feel like I want to throw up. So throw up, vomiting, or nauseous. Okay, these are the 2 possible answers in there. So on your question paper, you might see the word nauseous or vomiting, but your recording says, the tablets make me feel like I want to throw up. The next one that you heard is fed up. Patient said, I've had enough and I just want to go home. That means the patient is fed up. I've had enough. I just want to go home. Okay. For the next one, frightened. The patient is frightened. What if something goes wrong with the surgery? I'm really scared about being under an anesthetic. Okay, two signposting or two clues in there. What if something goes wrong with the surgery? That means he's very worried. Okay, and then he also used the keyword scared. I'm really scared. That tells you that is frightened. Okay, the next one, unwell. This is the old lady. I feel terrible, exhausted, weak, and in pain. Okay, I feel terrible. Well, the patient is unwell. Exhausted, that's tired. If someone is tired, they're unwell. Weak, that also means they're unwell. Okay, and in pain. So all of these symptoms tells you the patient is not feeling well or unwell. For number 5, this one's slightly confusing between these two. Okay, some of you might answer stress, but the correct answer is confused. Okay, he said, sometimes I feel all at sea, unable to understand what is going on. For those of you that have never heard of this word before, this is called an idiom. Okay, all at sea. It's an idiomatic expression. It means someone is feeling confused. Okay, because remember when you're at sea, you don't know, are you north, are you south? You don't, without an actual compass or anything, you don't know where you are. So the words all at sea or the idiom all at sea basically mean confusion. Okay, so if you've never heard of that before, then at least you know the meaning of it now. So that one tells you confusion. If you didn't know that, the second one will tell you, I am unable to understand what is going on. If you don't know what's going on, it means you are confused. So the last one is stressed. She said, I'm permanently on edge, jumpy at work. I find it difficult to switch off. We've got another idiom in here again. That is the word on edge. If someone is on edge, it means they're very stressed, they're anxious, okay? Another description of someone being anxious, I'm jumpy at work. When you say jumpy, you get surprised very quickly. Someone just said hello and you're, whoo, surprised already. That's jumpy, okay? Because you're jumping on your seat. That's what jumpy means. And then, I find it difficult to switch off, okay? Difficult to switch off means you cannot stop whatever you're doing. And that's why you're being stressed. It means you cannot stop working, you cannot stop thinking, you cannot stop worrying. That's all the same. So we've got 3 kind of idioms in here: on edge, jumpy, and difficult to switch off. Okay, so hopefully many of you got that right. And this is one of the reasons why OET listening is hard on some people, because you're probably waiting on the actual synonym, and what you've heard is a long explanation. Okay, so I want you to familiarize yourself with this long explanation, because sometimes that word isn't a synonym. It's not one word here, one word on the recording. Okay, it could be an extended explanation such as this 6. Okay, next one, we're just extending a little bit more, so hopefully you guys are still okay. We're doing adjectives and nouns this time. Okay, so I'm gonna do another poll question, but I think some of you probably don't have the poll, so I'll just switch again. Instead of doing the poll question, I'll just put it on screen. Okay, just a second. Okay, so hopefully you can see it on your screen. I want you to look at the 5 sentences and identify the full name of the condition, the body part, and the treatment. Okay, with OET, again, as I've mentioned earlier, you've got your nouns, you've got your verbs, you've got your adjectives, but sometimes it's an adjective plus a noun. And if you don't do the adjective plus noun, OET will consider your answers incorrect. And the reason why are different they have a different function, okay? Sometimes the words doesn't mean anything without the other words in there, okay? Or sometimes it's all about being very, very specific. So I want you to identify for number 1, okay? What is our full adjective plus noun? If someone can type on chat. Okay. Give me the adjective plus the noun in number 1. Okay, yeah, that is correct, Mary. Okay, you cannot just answer diabetes because there is a description on the left. Okay, so the correct answer in here will need to be type 1 diabetes. Why? You've got to be specific. Diabetes can also be type 2. Yeah, so there are different types of diabetes. So when you hear the specific type of the condition, you've got to write it down as well. So if you write diabetes only, wrong. It's got to be type 1 diabetes. What about number 2? Yes, okay. It is contact dermatitis. So this one, most likely when you're just listening, you will only hear dermatitis, okay? But as I've mentioned, if there is a description, never ever remove it, okay? So if you hear a description in the front, such as I have type 1 diabetes, it looks like I've got contact dermatitis, don't forget the adjective in there. It's got to be adjective plus noun. Number 3. Okay, so that's correct. Can someone tell me why is menopause wrong? What's the difference between menopause and early menopause? This one is all about correctness. It's not just about being specific, but it's all about correctness. Why? What is the difference between menopause and early menopause? Can someone tell me what's the difference between menopause and early menopause? Yes, correct, Dr. Tatiana. It's the age, okay? Because if you just write menopause, the typical age that we're talking about in there is about 45 and 55, okay? Somewhere in between this age, so when you turn 45, or maybe when you're 49 or 50, this is when you can have menopause, okay? But an early menopause means before 45. So if you got menopause at the age of, say, for example, at the age of 30, perhaps because of like partial hysterectomy, yeah, then that could mean you're on early menopause, because even before you turn 45, you're only 30 years old, you're a menopausal lady already because you have a hysterectomy, okay? So this is all about correctness, okay? Because someone who's 30 cannot be menopause, they're called early menopausal age. So that's the reason why this one without the word early will be wrong, okay? Next one. Number 4. Yes, okay. It's got to be topical corticosteroid. Again, this is all about correctness because corticosteroid can be given or administered in a different way, okay? But this one is being administered topically, okay? So that's the reason why if you just answered corticosteroid in here, it will be wrong, because it's the type of administration. It's got to be topical. Okay, so medically, if the doctor tells you give the patient corticosteroid and you didn't ask the doctor how you want it administered, then we've got an issue. You've got to run back to the doctor and say, okay, doc, is it topical or not? Yeah, so it's all about correctness. And then for the last one, yes, okay, stretch marks. Now the reason why it's got to be this both, because marks is different from stretch marks. Okay, so again, this is all about correctness of the vocabulary. So for all of these, you need to have the two. Okay, so type 1 diabetes, contact dermatitis, early menopause, topical corticosteroid, and stretch marks, because stretch has a different meaning from marks. Marks has a different meaning from stretch. Okay, so let's give this a try. Okay, this is your next practice. So you're gonna listen for number 1 to number 5.
Track 17. Test 2 training. Listening, Part A.
Remember,
Giving full
adjectives plus
answers.
nouns.
Exercise 2.
I've been suffering from neuromuscular scoliosis for the last 20 years.
It hurts all over, but it's worse in my upper back.
I was really ill with bacterial meningitis, but that was about 1.5 years ago now.
I'm recovering from a right knee replacement because I had osteoporosis.
I had this x-ray where I had to swallow some horrible liquid, but it showed it wasn't a hiatal hernia.
Okay, so many of them have got your adjective plus noun. For number 1, slightly hard to spell, neuromuscular scoliosis. Okay, neuromuscular scoliosis. This one an easy one, upper back. When it is a body part, majority of the times, OET will give you the specific location. Upper, lower, right, left. Okay? The third finger, the second finger. Whenever it is a body part, always predict there will be a description. Okay? Upper, lower, right, left, maybe the specific number of finger, etc. For number 3, it is bacterial meningitis. Now, this is a very common word, so OET expects that you know the spelling for this one. If you make this into a wrong spelling, that is most likely going to be wrong because it is a common word. Okay. Next one, again, as you can see, we've got a body part. There is the specific location, right knee. Okay, right knee replacement. Okay, and that's the name of your surgery or procedure. And last one, the barium swallow test excluded hiatal hernia. Okay, so hopefully, guys, we've given you some tips to help you answer and predict listening part A much better. Okay, so always remember, slightly strict on the adjectives plus nouns, so be very, very careful whenever you hear descriptions. And descriptions of a nouns are typically mentioned before. When you see it on your screen, it's to the left of the noun. When you listen for it, it's mentioned before the noun. Knee, right knee, left knee. Okay, finger, third finger, ring finger, etc. Yeah, so there's always the description before the actual noun. So thank you very much, everybody, and look forward to your next listening class. Okay, take care. Bye for now.